Hey guys, it's Baban and I'm back with another video, and I wanted to do a little show reel, kind of like I did with the last one with the stream screens, of some little animations that I've done. Now, I haven't really tried animation before. I've tried one that I'll show you right now that's from about 2017. That's probably the only time I've actually tried to do this kind of animation where it isn't something similar to my stream screens, where it's more like a paper doll where I make the assets and then move them around. But yeah, this one's pretty bad. So recently, I kind of got into the idea of trying it out in Clip Studio, but most of these loops are just about a second long because I only have like the basic clip. I don't have the one with all the frames. So I thought we'll just try it with that and see how it goes. Okay, so I've tried to put these in the same order that I've done them. So I started out with, let me just try and do one of an OC and kind of try some different head angles. And I did go a bit wacky with it and maybe put too many down, maybe not enough frames in between it. I think there's maybe just a little bit too much movement in between all of them, but this was like the first try of something that I did. So I don't think it's too terrible for a first try. It's just a little bit janky, and I didn't really do keyframes. I did it more one by one and just saw where it went, which I don't think helped me. I need to get used to keyframes a little bit more. With the second one I tried to go and put keyframes in it, but it really didn't work very well. You can see by this it looks like it's kind of walking backwards or something. I'm not sure if a couple of the frames are out of whack or something, but there's probably not enough in the middle for this to work properly as a little walk cycle for the cat. It's almost as the head moves okay, but there's just not enough frames for the legs with how much they move between each other. It just doesn't look smooth enough on this one. I tried to be a little bit more scruffy with this one on purpose because with the last one I kind of got burnt out on it quite quickly just because I'm not used to animating. So I thought with this one I'd just leave it. I didn't want to go and clean it up anymore and put more frames in. I thought I've probably ruined something on it and made a mess, so I'll leave it as an example for when I can come back to doing something similar in the future. Okay, and the next one I just kind of went all out on because I think I was getting a little bit annoyed with the sketchy one, so I was like, let's do one that's very finished and clean, and instead of doing something that's very anchored in the same place, let's try and keep it so the pose is anchored, but that it moves around on the canvas. And this isn't Pink Guy, this is Friendo Cherry's OC, Zazzle, who is a naked boy. I gave him a little bit more of an outfit though, so it's kind of like a onesie that he can wear. So we're just kind of drawing a people form without worrying about clothes movement or anything. So, like I say, the pose that he's in is very anchored and still, and all he does really is kind of spin around in the same pose. So that it's a little bit easier for me. I'm going to be having quite a lot of the process of me drawing this at the end of the video after I go over these little bits of animation, so you can kind of see the process of me drawing it and tell me if I'm doing it wrong at all, because I'm sure you guys know a lot more than me. But yeah, I just wanted to make him spin because I thought that would be a little bit easier, and it was, and I think this one made me a little bit more confident with it because it's like I can get the sort of movement and timing with the spin a little bit better. And it kind of actually looks like he's moving, and it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. He spins around. Some of it's a little bit wonky, but it's okay. With the next one, because I'd started animating, I started thinking about what if we have more body movement going on, and I kind of started thinking about chess people and the way that I designed the plates and how I couldn't really explain it with just flat illustrations. So I was like, what if I can explain the plate expansion and contraction with a little bit of movement like that? So I just did a buff HB flexing so that you can see, like I say, the expansion and contraction of the plates with that movement. I think this one looks kind of stiff, like there's not really enough movement in it. I thought I did a lot when I first drew it, but looking back at it now, it doesn't look very animated. I don't think the timing's too off in that it kind of slows down as he breathes in more and then speeds back up and then slows down again. But yeah, I don't mind the way the arms move and stuff. He just doesn't look like he's getting that much buffer when he should be. In terms of the plate movement and everything though, and I particularly like the waistband on his pants, the way that moves with the way his tummy moves as well. So I'm kind of happy with that. And onto the next one is another Osage, it's my little Mothman dude. And I wanted to try one that moved a little bit more kind of across the screen and also kind of get a bit of turning on him so he's got more 3D. Kind of don't like the way this one turned out. Again, it was one that I thought maybe moved a little bit more than it actually ended up doing. It kind of got a bit more stiff as I got the lines into it, and I ended up not liking it as much. But yeah, he's not too bad. I was kind of trying to bring together some of the things I'd learned from doing the other ones and give him a bit more movement. So he's kind of a mix between maybe the spinny Zazzle one and the HB that I did, in that he kind of moves across the screen a little bit, but he, you know, twists a little bit too, has a bit of movement. But he's not terrible. I don't think his eyes are too bad. I was trying to do the thing where he takes the glasses off and you see that his eyes are kind of different. I tried to do the thing that was the opposite of when people in cartoons, that kind of trope where they have really big eyes when they have the glasses on, but they take them off and they're like really tiny and beady. He's kind of the inverse of that. So I think the eyes look okay. That was the main point of what I was trying to do with him. And as of that one, that's all of the animation I've done so far. I want to do some more, but I've kind of ended up scooting over and doing other projects at the moment, but I want to try some other things that I have ideas for as well, try a little bit more movement in some of them, see if I can do something better again. Anyway, I'm just going to have a little bit of a speed draw of me drawing the spinny Zazzle one, and I think I also have a little bit of me drawing the Mothman at the end of this too, so I wanted to include those in here so that you guys can kind of see me going through it and I can talk about it a bit more. Okay, so with the Zazzle that we're doing now, I just put pole down and started to try and draw him in, spinning around, and what I really wanted to pay attention to on this one was the timing, because as he spins around, he's going to move quicker when he's kind of swiping across, and then he's going to slow down as he curves around at the sides, kind of like, I think when I was drawing it, I called it visual Doppler effect or something. Just as an example of it, but I tried to not do too many layers of sketches on these also. You can see I've done like one little sketch and then I'm going and tidying it up and using these lines with it. So they ended up like a little bit scruffy. It wasn't like the tidiest thing or the most well drawn, but I was trying to get the point across and see if it would work, because I didn't want to spend too long on this. I think it probably took me a couple of streams to do it, and I did most of it on stream. It was a little bit off stream, but most of it should be in here. I think as well, somewhere in this file, there is lines that go across. Oh yeah, you can see them there. So I've got like where his head lines up, kind of where the bottom of his, the top of his shoulder just lines up by there, and then it goes down to where the butt is and also the bottom of the foot, and it does kind of vary out from those a little bit, but it's just to kind of keep him on the same plane so that it's just kind of drawing him from different angles on different sides of the canvas. What I did with some of this as well was, I think I drew one side of him spinning and then copy pasted it and flipped it to the other side. And then did the thing where you kind of erase the insides of the lines, so you've just got the silhouette, and then filled it in with back details. So we've got like a front and a back frame. I did have to change the feet on that as well though, because it made the feet squiff by doing that, but it gave me like a bit better of a base for it. I don't know if it's too visible in the actual animation as well, but as he swings around, he does wink at you and smile a little bit. I think that's something that I changed later though, because it doesn't look like he's doing it right now. My sketches are kind of chunky. I was trying to keep him so that his chest and his hips are at a slightly different angle. I think these frames in particular were quite difficult, right? Where they come around at the front. And I think his leg might move a little bit because it's kind of more forward facing in the previous frame, but it kind of moves back a little bit in this one. So some of these are a little bit inconsistent. I didn't manage to keep him perfectly like where he was, but like in the animation it reads okay, but it still bothers me. It still bothers me. This one was really fun to do though. I was, like I said, I was trying to scribble him out quick and get him to look okay. I guess a lot of figure drawing, so I can just kind of slap this stuff down and have it not look terrible. It's still kind of bad, but it's not the worst. I know his foot flips around like really quick in those few frames there as well, and that kind of bothered me. I'm just going to tell you guys like every little corner on this that annoys me so that you can like focus right on them and notice them when you wouldn't otherwise. But yeah, oh man. Swinging him around again that way. I think it goes to like that one, and then I think I do the swapping thing where I start copying the frames, maybe. It's kind of neat seeing this run through and then just the little whips of the movement. I did make a couple of GIFs before I actually tidied it up very much, just with the sketch to see if it was moving well. I am finding with the animation that it's kind of difficult in the same way it is with just regular drawing and illustration, in that you'll do a sketch and it'll look quite loose and have a lot of movement to it, and then as you start tidying it up, it starts to become stiffer and doesn't have the same kind of movement that you want. Ooh, yeah, and this is, I'm really feeling it in the animation. I'm really picking up on that with it, and it's quite annoying. I wanted to, when I get back to trying animation, I want to try doing something like a pole vault, because I have a character that would do that, so I think he would be fun. He's also got a lot of floppy hair that would be fun to try and get to do that, and also be a little bit more simple than kind of looser, flowy hair, since it's quite chunky and floppy. Oh, I was trying to go for wacky face angles as well. Look at me go, because I can't help myself. I did try and do it so that Zazzle swings around and his head's a little bit more, just kind of, I was going to say T-posed, but that's not right. It just kind of like straight vertical from his body, but he also like flips his head out as it goes to the side, so he's kind of like throwing the momentum with it, and he also leans out a little bit so that he can like turn his head and wink at you when he swings around too. So I was trying to get a little bit of kind of squiff movement in it, but it wasn't intentional really from the get-go, because I was purposefully kind of trying to keep the pose quite stiff, but as I was doing it, I was finding myself kind of leaning into those poses and having it slightly different angle. So I just kind of rolled with it. I just kind of went with it. I thought, yeah, we'll try it. We'll go with it. Yeah, it's quite cool seeing these come together. I haven't been looking at a lot of my speed draws for a while, but it's nice seeing this one. These are from the end of last year as well, actually. I don't think I've mentioned that yet, but all of these are from the end of 2020. I can't remember if any of them were during the middle of it. I think it was kind of around the last few months, because I remember this Zazzle being a December thing, I think. Either November or December this one was. Maybe. Or was it maybe earlier, because there was another one after it of HB, but he might have been quite soon afterwards. I think I kind of went a bit more keyframey with this one as well, just because it's on such a set rotation. I kind of want to say it's on tracks almost, because I've got those lines lining everything up. It was a little bit easier to put stuff in the right place because I already have the measurements for where everything is, and I just have to, you know, put it in a slightly different pose. Also, you might be able to notice I'm not actually drawing his other hand yet. I wanted to kind of focus on that on its own so that I could keep it a little bit more consistent and not get distracted by drawing the rest of the lines as it was going around on all of these. So that's a thing I go and do all together later. I was going to have him like slapping a butt as he was swinging around with that hand, but I decided to just put a glowy thing after it, because by the time I was done, I was like way burnt out on it because it was quite a lot. I ain't used to that much. Oh, there he goes, spinning in reverse. Whee! No, it's neat. I should probably make separate GIFs of these things at like the different stages, so you get like sketch lines and then coloured and everything, so that it's kind of clearer. I think I'm going to do that with any future ones that I do, so I can reference them. I imagine it'd annoy me more, like I said, because it loses kind of a lot between the sketch and the lines and the finish thing. I think I went over this a few times as well on some of these, because I wanted more line weight, or some of them the lines were a little bit thicker, because I kept ending up changing the line weight of the pen. Oh, there we go with the hand now. I think the hand kind of skips and jumps a little bit in the same way that I mentioned that leg that curves around the pole does too. So it snaps from one pose to a different one on different frames. I tried to keep it consistent, but I think it's just kind of me not being used to doing animation very much. You should be able to see it easier when it moves. Like that one kind of starts to lean back a bit more. It's difficult to get the fingies to wrap around properly. It would have been pretty cool as well. I don't know how to do it right now, but if I could have got him spinning and then also kind of descending from the top of the pole so he's off screen and then he just kind of slides down it while he's spinning, that would have been pretty cool too. But like I say, by the time I was done with this, I was done. But that would have been neat to just have him kind of pass over over the screen. Oh, there I go, putting him in there, making a winky face at you. There he is. And then we're going to go in and do the colours. Oh, there's a couple of goes of him spinning too. Whee! There he is. I'm going to skip over a little bit more of the process of me colouring him as well and just kind of show you some interesting bits where I flip through the frames so you can see him moving. Because it's just a bunch of fill tool. It's not super interesting. Like I say, I tried to give him a bit more of an obvious onesie so that it didn't look as weird. I was trying to kind of focus on just the human form, He-Man, and get it to behave without any floppy clothes. His hair flops around a little bit, but not too much. Not too much, just a little bit as it kind of flaps out to the side with the momentum that's swinging around. I imagine it'd be really annoying with someone with long hair. That's gonna be another thing that I have to figure out is hair. I kind of tried it in that first one I did with my OC with the little kind of Romana flowers hair with the danglies at the side, which for the amount of frames I used on it, I don't think I did too badly with. But I'll have to try it on a character that's got longer hair. I've got some with really long hair that I'll have to see if I can draw something with. I just want to do someone kind of scurrying across the screen. I want to do something where there's movement between the legs and they're not just, you know, anchored in one spot, so they can maybe jump or something. That would be fun. Maybe I should just try a jumping animation. That'd allow me to mess about a bit more with keyframes as well, probably. And also things like squash and stretch I want to start looking into as well. Just all the different principles. I can't remember if there's like 7. There's either like 7 or 15. I know there's quite a lot. Anyways, we're done with the Zazzle one. Let's move on to Mothman. I think I just did him for fun at the end of one stream and then it turned into like a whole thing when I meant to make it kind of shorter. But there he goes. He's a rounder boy. I've got a little ruff of him at the side that I've done as well. I kind of want to change his design more, but he's okay for now. He needs more picking and poking at, but he's a little nerd. But yeah, this whole speed paint is a little bit more all together than the Zazzle one. I think I have pretty much everything I did with this in this speed paint, because you can see me doing these first few sketches. You can also see I'm doing the thing where I'm just doing one frame and then the other and then the next one, and you know, not keyframing. Watch me go along the bottom there. Yeah, just I'm finding it a lot easier to keep them consistent when I draw like that, which is annoying me because, oh man, I don't know. I guess if I drew a keyframe and it was over the other side of the screen or something, it would be a bit too far away for it to be obvious if there were any mistakes. I do the thing sometimes where I'll grab like another layer or another character in an illustration and move them, you know, obviously if they're in the same kind of perspective point, so it's not going to warp them or make them smaller too much. Pull them over to the other character and see how the proportions line up to see if the, you know, faces or heads or anything completely different shapes and sizes so they're not too wacky. So I guess I could try doing that if I do keyframes, but oh man, I need to try them, or I need to simplify the shapes down a little bit more, because like I say, I was trying to do these quite quickly so that I just do kind of one sketch and then the lines, like it was ready for lines. I didn't want to have to redraw these 3 times. I was like, two's enough. There's going to be like 10 different frames. It's like 20. I don't want to make it 30. I kind of like the way he looks in these, though. I don't think he ended up looking quite as good when I aligned it for whatever reason, but I like the way he looks in these little sketches. Also, I kind of just want to talk about Mothman now. I kind of just want to talk about him now. Um, he's got like a big old cardigan on, and he looks like buff. He looks buff, but he's all fluff under there. He's all fluff, chat, and he's got like a little bow tie under the floof around his neck. It just poofs up because he's got a shirt on with like a collar and a little bow tie under there, and all the fur like fluffs up around his face and pokes out because he can't stuff it all in underneath. And then he's all fluffy underneath his cardigan and stuff. You can kind of see it on his arms, around his elbows. He's got a little bit there, and then his arms are just bald from the rest down, or I guess fuzzy, I don't know. Bald compared to the rest of him. I thought his little... They are antennae, aren't they? His little frondy antennae look okay. I quite like the way they curved around. I did okay on those. Maybe as it scoots more forward, they don't look great, but when they're at the side and they flip around, they look kind of cute. Also, oh yeah, the little fluff down the front of his face, like a barn owl. They have like the little floof down the middle where all the hair kind of converges, and I think it's adorable. So I gave Mothman it too, and kind of like a little hairdo almost. A little hairdo too, and glasses that are too big, with tape in the middle as well. Something else I found out with Clip as well, with the animation, is that you can copy a frame. And then if it's a copy, it translates anything you put on the original or that copy onto either the original or the copy. And it's pretty cool, especially when I'm doing little loops like this, because if I want to just copy paste something, I kind of only need to do it once, and then it just sorts everything else out that I put on the rest of the image and redraw on. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I don't know if that's something you can change at all, but I like it. I also like all the different onion skin options. For changing the colours of it and how many frames you can see. It does get a little bit confusing when there's a lot of them in there, and kind of hard to see. You can see me kind of struggling right now as I'm looking through them all and kind of constantly tweaking between them so I can readjust to where everything is. But it ain't too bad. I guess you gotta be pretty good at it, or it's a bit easier if it's not so squashed together like this. I don't know if people would use less frames for something so squashed together like this. Like, I can't remember how many frames it is for anime. Or if there's any kind of frame amount adjustment through different things and for different scenes. But yeah, I feel like it'd be, maybe a bit smoother if you needed kind of more frames for something where they were moving across the screen and not just stood in the same place. I can't remember how many frames I ended up with, but to be fair, it's probably just half of them, because half of them are copied anyway, so that it loops back around the other way. Ooh, this is when I added like all the stuff in the corner too. You can see my nice little hoard. There's like a toilet and a dragon and a W. And what was that? Shrimp barbecue. Wait, oh, I did this in March. Okay. I did this in March? Wow. Okay, that was like pretty recent then. It's just like a couple of months ago. I expected this to be later, but yep. Okay, no, this was March. I tried to give him a little bit of more movement in his, I guess not so much the sleeves, but the bottom part of his cardigan, where it's a little bit looser around where the buttons are and just the pointy corner and things, and get it to angle down because it kind of just hangs off of him at the front, because the rest of it's too big because it only needs to be bigger to fit on his arms. Also, his braces kept being really annoying, and his wings. I think his wings maybe snap a little bit too quickly into a different angle. I also didn't put any details on the inside of them because I think I got lazy with it. I should have done a little bit of feather detail in them though, like you can see in the refs. But I did go and put the kind of red spots and colours around on the outside, so they weren't terrible. I think this was me trying to do frames a little bit further apart as well. You can see me doing now, there's a little bit more of a jump between that last frame and this one, but I think I go back and put another one in as well. And it's so that I can jump forward a little bit and get it to where he's showing his eyes properly, and he's a little bit more front view, and his glasses are just further down so that he ain't seeing nothing. He ain't seeing them little beady eyes anymore, and the glasses are kind of out of the way. Drawing his like fluff roll was kind of a pain as well. Just keeping that consistent kept bothering me. I kept kind of running into having an issue with it when I was doing the lines as I was tidying it up. So I was like, uh-oh, this is wonky. Uh-oh. But he ended up okay. He ended up alright with the fluff. It might jump about a little bit. I'm still trying to kind of stylize the fluff on him and get it into some nice shapes that I like. When I was starting drawing this, I probably should have pulled the reference that I have at the side up a little bit sooner, but I didn't even think that I had it. But I'd been doing a lot of sketching of him earlier in the year, and I've got like a sketch sheet that I don't think I've ever posted anywhere, but they're just kind of there as references of him that I have, because we were messing about with a bunch of different cryptid designs in the Discord, and looking at, you know, just coming up with dumb shit for him. Pretty much. I've been kind of drawing a little bit more of them recently, but mostly of other people's characters. Like Shape in the Discord has a chupacabra that I've been enjoying drawing just a couple of times, kind of memeing with it. And just drawing dumb shit for fun. He draws a lot of Mothman though. He draws a lot of raunchy Mothman shit, which is pretty funny. A lot of flashlight jokes, let's say. A lot of flashlight jokes. Here I go with messing about with the onion skin colours as well. I like that there's like a bunch of settings for it that I didn't expect there to be. I'm getting on my nerves though, because I want there to be all of the onion skins there so I can see them and kind of line everything up properly, but also that's kind of too many and it gets real messy like what you're looking at now, and it just hurts to look at. It's pretty bad, man. But I was having a bit of an issue with the colours as well, but I think it might be because I draw on grey instead of white, but I couldn't stand looking at the white background. I couldn't put up with it. I had to have it on grey, but the blue, like the default blue, blends in a lot more than you'd think with it, just because of the value. The red's kind of bad as well, and I tried like green on it too. But like anything lighter just kind of hurts to look at. I was thinking maybe I need to start drawing the lines in a different colour though. I might try that the next time. See if that's a bit more helpful. Maybe do the lines in white and have everything underneath. Oh dear, with the sketches in kind of grey or something. This is almost to where I'm done with the sketches too. I'm just going to go and put the wings in on all of these, and then I'm going to skip forward a little bit to where I just start doing the lines, because there was a bunch of me kind of just adjusting the frames and seeing if they want any speeding up or slowing down. So now that that's done, here we go. This should go a little bit faster now. I tried to speed it up more for the lines. Even this like took me longer than I thought it would. I also went and used that textured G pen. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a G pen in Clip that has a different kind of texture. Something else I learned from this one as well is that little blue edge around just the kind of the frame on this is where it cuts off when you save it, which I didn't know before for some reason. I was like, why are half of his wings gone? But you kind of have to get rid of that, or so you can kind of leak it out a little bit and still, you know, understand what you're drawing and not get confused by, you know, being scared by the edge of the frame. I tried to do his glasses on a couple of different layers too, just so they were a bit easier to control, and I wanted to put like a nice red glow underneath them so that they stand out. I almost like the lines just on their own quite a bit more as well. Like just when it's with the lines, I don't know if the colours dampen it any, or if there's some kind of colour relativity, or because of the values it makes it look like he's not quite moving as much, but it just doesn't seem as dynamic. It could be a value thing though. It could definitely be a value thing. I maybe should have made the background a little bit lighter on him so you can see more movement in the silhouette, even though his silhouette's very like chunky, I guess. I don't know, man. It kind of looks like there's about, how many frames are there? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? There's about 5 or 6, and then they kind of stop and then repeat back. So there's probably like 12 frames in this or something. If I'm counting those correctly, one of them will just be a single one that it kind of goes to at the end of the loop, and then the one in the middle where it pauses for a minute. I really don't know if I'm doing it right with kind of adjusting the sizes of those frames that you can see down the bottom on the timeline. I don't know if they should all be the same size and me just, you know, duplicating the frame. Maybe that's how it should be. I've just been kind of extending them because I can. I need to mess about with the way it is more because I was trying to get straight into this and just do the drawing and stuff, because figuring out the technical stuff kind of annoys me. It's a bit easier if I just start going in and working on stuff. Oh, look, he looks nice with the lines. He looks fine with the lines. I think I kind of chibied him up a little bit as well. He's not quite as gangly as he is in the wrap. He's supposed to be quite tall and I guess skinny though, at least on the bottom half of him before he floofs up with all the hair. At least down there, I like his little hair like quite a lot. I kind of don't mind the design of him. His clothes just annoy me a little bit. I need to do something else with them, but I was a bit annoyed that you don't get to see his elbow patches in this actually, because I think his elbow patches are quite funny with the blue that matches his shirt. It's a very little nerdy thing you can have. I also tried to give him some gradients in his design too, so he's got the kind of dusting on his hands and a little bit on his antennae, kind of in the glasses too. If I make them glow, they have a bit of a kick out from them with the shine, bit of glow, so that they stand out. What else was I going to mention? Oh yeah, he's got like the pens in his pocket and the braces and the teeth braces also. He's got a bunch of stuff. I think his feet like bother me. They're a little bit too bird-like. I want to mess with those a bit more on the design. I need to redraw him and just try out some other different fashion things on him. Like I kind of struggle with that sort of thing. Not so much character design. I can make characters look different, but when it gets to the costume design, once it's past like the body shapes and things, my brain gets confused. It gets overwhelmed because there's too many choices. Too many choices. I've been trying with different things to go through Pinterest and see if I can pick up on things that work for different fashion choices. But my goodness, is it difficult? It's probably because I've been trying to do it for simpler character design, so that might be what the trouble is. That might be what the trouble is. I don't like ones that are too overdone, where there's too many little fancy elements and things, like belt buckles and things. You guys know I have an issue with like anime character design. You already know that, but I try and stay away from that. But yeah, the main thing in this was like the braces. Like the braces, the kind of checks on his shirt, so it's like blueprint kind of grid. And the glasses, they were the main thing I wanted on this. So I wanted like a lot of detail just on that shirt. So that was more of a focal point, and then the braces kind of lead up to where he's got the glasses. Get a bit more, you know, bright contrast. I don't know if it'd be worth changing his shorts or changing his legs so that he can get longer trousers that cut off too short so that he looks more nerdy, you know, just maybe. I didn't really want to put shoes on him. I don't really like monsters wearing shoes. I think that looks a bit off, or it makes them a little bit too humanoid if you give them people feet and shoes. I don't know if you could make monster shoes that would adjust to the shapes that their feet are. Now I'm thinking of like a dinosaur foot that's like 3 Converse shoes stitched together with like 3 sets of laces, and that's ridiculous. I wonder how that would look though if you drew it. Like I see it in my head, but I don't know how dumb it would look if I actually drew it. That's what I'm kind of thinking of though, because he's got those bird feet. I suppose I could also go the route of socks and sandals, but then again, I think you have the same issue. You could have like a sandal with a couple of different hoops for all the different toes, maybe. Just look like a pancake. Or like, oh, what do baseball gloves look like? I'm thinking of those, where they have just like one big paddle for everything. Maybe regular kind of flip-floppy, slippery things where it's just a scoop over the top of fabric. I can't remember the right name for those, but maybe something like that. I like the idea of trousers that are rolled up too high, and then socks that are also too high up. That's kind of a nerdy thing. I should try to just go with shorts for him though. I don't know if they quite work the same. I was trying to purposefully make them too big though. Like he's a little bit chunkier around the waist than his legs are. They're just gangly and skinny. I was trying to make him almost Chad shaped. So it's like he's just skipping leg day and he kind of looks like he might have muscle under there, but it's all just fur. It's all just fur, like buffing him out. He's like, it's just like stuffed with fluff to make him look buff. Stuffed with fluff to make him look buff, but he ain't really. Weedy. And we're starting to get to where we're nearly done with all of these lines and it's going to get into the colouring, but I might skip through a little bit of that again just for, you know, just for making it a little bit quicker because that's going to be a lot of fill tool again. I'll stick around for where I'm just picking the colours to put on him because I think I changed those a little bit. Or do I drop them? I don't know if I drop them from the original colours I have over on the left there. What am I doing? His hand was a little bit of a pain. I kept making that either like too big or too small, but ain't that always the problem with hands? Baby hands. Always the baby hands. The wrinkles on his shirt didn't look like too bad. They do go a bit squiff in the animation though. I think it was one of those things where it looked okay on each frame, but when I put it all together it didn't really move too well. Everything kind of stays in the same place almost. It's a little bit awkward. I was trying to keep nice lines on all of the fluff on him, but also carrying all of those through was quite difficult as well. Just because, oh, that's a lot of lines to kind of have to continue over into the next frame. I probably should have done less of those. I'm starting to see why why animated stuff has less lines in it, and it's more simple. Just, oh man, I like my fluffy lines though. It's very difficult to not. There we go, filling everything in, filling all the layers in. Ain't too fussy. It ain't too fussy. Oh no, I am just eyedropping the colours. There you go. Just eyedropping the colours and filling them in on each layer. Let's skip forward a little bit. Okay, so we're kind of getting to where we're almost done with all of that. I think I just need to fill in the eyeballs. So not eyeballs, the glasses. The glasses, those are not eyeballs. But yeah, all the same colours from the thing, and then just tidying up any little designs and stuff. Oh, his shirt as well. God, I hated doing his shirt and trying to line everything up properly. I was trying to like measure it, like, okay, there's this many stripes going this way, there's that many stripes going this way. They cut off by this when they get to the braces, and just, oh man. Oh, it was bad. Ooh, it was really bad. Oh, you can see a little bit of his elbow patch. Just a teensy bit there. I don't think he's got any... Oh no, he's got a tiny bit of gradient in the little fluffs of hair that he's got on the top. That was the other gradient. But a lot of the rest of it is just kind of greys and that darker kind of purple. It's either like purpley or dark blue. That's the base color. I don't like using kind of flat greys that are very desaturated. I like to have at least a little bit in them. There we go, tidying the glasses up because it had to be over the top of the lines too. And then give him a bit of glow. Kind of moves okay. He kind of moves okay. And then the eyes. I don't know if I could have transitioned those a little bit smoother. I was trying to get it almost as though, oh god, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but I used to have when I was little, things that I think Fam probably had them years before me, but it was like, you'd have a thing with a red kind of sleeve in the middle of it. It was like a picture frame thing, and you'd pull out the red and it would change to like a different picture almost because you were taking the red away from it. It was weird. I guess his eyes are kind of like that with the glasses where you have just the beady ones underneath, and then he takes them off and there's like a harsh cut between those ones. But yeah, he's got them big sparkly eyes. He looks really goofy in the reference. Forgot how goofy he looks. I'm gonna hate the way he looks pretty soon. I'll have to redraw him again. Just I like the idea of him having a tiny head. I seem to like characters that have like a really goofy little face like this. And they're like wide, and more of the detail is like in like the design and the clothes and the body and stuff, and the body shape's like a bit wacky and different, and then the face is just like a couple of dots or something. just some eyeballs and a mouth, and that's it. Just no other details. I seem to like a lot of characters like that. I'm noticing a theme. It's kind of funny. No, it's like the sweet idiot boy personality. They suit it. They're like a stereotype to it. Typecast, that's the word. Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Just animating him a little bit and saving him. There we go. Let's go and play these at the end as well. So we've seen that, and then we see the end result. Well, yeah, there he is. There he goes. I'm also going to put Zazzle in here as well, so you can see him spinning around on his pole. There he goes. Right, thanks for watching the video. I hope this helped. If it did, give us a like, share if you think it'll help someone else, subscribe for new videos on Saturdays. Yeah, I'll put a link to some other videos that I've done that are kind of relevant to these. Maybe not in the way of animation, but in some other stuff. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.